Hello, everybody. How are you this September 10th? So it is so good to see you. And luckily, our temperatures are cooling, but it's been very rainy and very humid. But hello, so good to see you. I've just been a little slow the last couple days. Have you ever had days where you're just like, I think I just like to sit and do not, maybe read a book, just take it easy. But anyway, I've been trying to work on things like this is the new Triptych. So it's going to be a red strip across, then a blue, and I'm still working on how to get that done, but we're getting there. Then one of the other little things I did was on this, whoops, let me turn it right side up. On the stained glass, I have started zigzagging it with the monopoly. I don't know if you can see it. Usually you can't see that I've done it except through the back, or if you put it under the light just right, you'll see it shine. But it's going along really, really easily. And I'm so happy because, I tell you, whoops, I'm dropping things. But I have told you before that I hate zigzagging through fusibles. And if I can keep from doing that, I'll be very happy. There's one little tricky thing I noticed while I was zigzagging it. You're not late at all. I just started. I'm on time, see? That makes everybody else look late. But there's no late around here. But one thing I noticed when I was zigzagging the stained glass is it needed a little more support on the back. So I'm going to get ready to show you how to do that. Normally, when I do an art quilt, the first thing I do is I usually use a muslin or some kind of base, and I put interfacing on the back. Because when you're dealing with anything that is like a collage or different pieces or different textures, it's really good to have something that kind of unifies the back of the fabric. So let me first, before I show you how to do that, I'm going to see who's here. I see a lot of chatting going on, and I'm thrilled. Oh, Lisa, first person here. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, Lisa, I'm getting very excited looking for fabrics. I really liked some of them that had Christmas fabrics in them. But I don't normally do red and green for Christmas. Blue is my favorite color. So even my tree has all blue and white lights on it. And when I make things, like I made a tree skirt, I made it out of blue and silver. I actually found that Kona Fabrics has a Metallica type fabric, and I found a silver that has a shimmer to it. So this opens up a whole new idea, but it's not cheap fabric. And what I'm going to do is try to see how I can recreate it and color it in and kind of see how it's going to look. Because I know Lisa's is going to be gorgeous. She has such a good eye for color. And I have to work at it harder. But hi, Lisa. And then Meltem is here. Oh, I love that y'all can speak in a language you both can understand well. I love that. Barbara Smith, it is so good to see you. And then Marsha, our Marsha's here. I do need to apologize. I have yet to upload the patterns for the latest art quilt that we're doing, which is a strip art quilt. And the reason I haven't is because I haven't sat down and taken a Sharpie marker and drawn all of the lines. It's still just in pencil. And that doesn't show up very good when you try to make copies of it. So I will make sure, I'll see if I can do it today and get Mark to help me scan each of the pages in and get it on our site. So the reason I said that with Marcia is because she asked for the copy and I still don't have it done, but I'll try to catch up. This has been a quiet couple days for me. I did my first art quilt Thursday night after taking the whole month of August off. And it wore me out. So anyway, okay. So Marcia, I will get that done and send it to you. Anne, hi, Anne. How are things? Hopefully the world's looking clear and bright and you're feeling good. And then Laura is here. I loved seeing Laura posted something on our group's IO site. I loved seeing her on there. And let's see, Teresa Jukovic, wonderful. So let's see, good to see you. Sonia, oh, Sonia's here. Okay, oh, it's so good. Jody, oh, do I have a couple great new pictures from Jody? Can't wait. So, oh, this is wonderful. Debbie, hi, sweetheart. Polly's here. Mary's here. This is wonderful. I love seeing each and every one of you. And it was interesting. I got a little criticism in my comments from last week's show. And I thought, I think the person was a little too hypersensitive, maybe. But I took time to think about it. And I said, you know, the one thing I am is I'm who I am. And I am that way with all of you because I consider you my friends. And when we get together on Sundays, I feel like we are a group of friends and we're like a quilting bee. And I know that this goes out there to anyone in the world who wants to see it. But for the most part, whatever I'm feeling, that's what you get. And that's all I know how to be. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and sometimes I wear my opinions on my sleeve. And the thing I love about all of you is you don't always agree with what I say, but just like any other friends, you let, like on the chat here, I don't have rules for chat except that you aren't mean to anyone, but I want everyone to feel like they are with their friends, and I want people to be comfortable. One thing, oh, thank you, Anne. One thing I do believe in is I love the big melting pot idea. I love that you can come and be safe and join us here from whatever belief background, ethnic background, anything like that. As long as you're a kind person, as long as don't come with a mean spirit to anyone, then I love that. So just, yeah, I feel like there's always room for anybody at the table. Even if somebody criticizes me, they're welcome here because everybody's welcome to their own opinion. And that is too, you're right, Joe. I mean, some of us have been through life-changing illness together. We've been through thick and thin. And you know what? Maybe this group is not for everybody. It's not a large group. It's a small group, but it's a very heartfelt group. And I do think of each one of you as friends. So anyway, just thought I would tell y'all that and how much you mean to me. And it's okay if you don't agree with everything that I say. And I try my best not to be mean in any way. But yeah, I have strong feelings. I have lived for 67 years and I've gone through quite a lot of things, just like all of you. We all bring our life experiences to this table, but we all have a beautiful, valuable seat at this table. And you know what? The table's all level because we're all equal here. And it it's just this is my happy place. And thank you for that, everyone. Thank you for that. So, okay. So I think I said enough of that. I said everyone's welcome here, but I think I have to take that back a wee bit. Do you see this pill bug? I don't think he's welcome here. Now, if any of you remember as kids, one of the things we loved about pill bugs is pill bugs will roll up in a tiny ball. Let me see if I can. So here is this cute little pill bug. He finally realized, uh-oh, I might be in danger. And I see that he'll stick his head out every once in a while to see if there's still danger out there. Oh, I sure will, Mary. My roly-polies, yep, that's another name for them. So that's so cute. And I'm not, I appreciate him, but I think it's time for him to, oh, he opened up. Look, he opened up. Come on. Oh, now he rolled back into a ball. That is just so cute. You need to go down here, Pillbug. Oh, no, he doesn't want to leave us. He likes it here. Can you? Oh, there we go. I snuck him into the toilet paper roll there. And toilet paper roll. Do you know Christmas is going to be here in just a few months? So we're going to do our first Christmas. Whoops, old Deb. Oh, now I dropped the. I knew when I put that cup of water back behind my signboard, I knew that was a bad idea. So, okay. I am going to need that paintbrush later, but luckily I've got extra ones. So what I'm doing, let me go back to the beginning. But that pill bug was awfully cute. A mascot. Good idea. Okay. So here is, oh, let me back this back up. Whoop. Okay. Here is the, my brain is even slow today. Here is the stained glass quilt. And you know what? It was a lot of pieces, about 450. A lot of pieces, but I did have fun with it. I don't want to do another one right away, but there will come a time. But when I was sewing, I noticed that since the pieces were folded under, it tended to, the fabric flexed a little bit too much and made it a little tough to sew. I had to use a sharp point to help me. And in fact, my favorite thing to use is like a bamboo skewer, because if the needle hits it, I will have less likely to have damage. But I will make sure to take this. I was working on it upstairs, and I'll take this upstairs with me. But anyway, but I noticed that it flexed too much because this fabric is thicker than the inside. So I said, okay, when I go downstairs, I need to get a piece of fusible interfacing. And how you can tell what side has the fusible on it is that side will be a little bumpy because those are the dots of the fusible. So you check your directions because every fusible is just a little different. But what I'm going to do with this fusible, I use my cotton setting. And with this, it's more about having contact with the fusible for long enough. So the best thing, if you're very patient, which I'm not, is to put your iron down and count a certain number of seconds, maybe like 10 seconds. But it's better to just kind of do this and for slower and longer if you have the time, which I don't. But I'm going to turn it this way. But the main thing is you want to make sure that you get it stuck down very good. And you can buy this at any of your sewing supply stores. This is a lightweight, which people use to stiffen collars and cuffs in clothing. So it's useful in clothing and also useful in art quilts. You've probably used it or heard about using it when you do t-shirt quilts, because t-shirts being stretchy material, they're really tough to get them to look nice and tidy in a quilt. Now I'm going to just roll this up a little, move to the next section. But I thought about doing this at first, and I said, oh, I don't know if I need it. Well, now I do need it. So, and if it tends to stick too much, you might have to drop the temperature down a notch on your iron. But just give it a shot, try it. Some people might want to use a pressing cloth over it. I don't know if I recommend that because I want to make sure that I'm not crumpling this. And I'm afraid if I had an ironing cloth over it, that I might get a little ripple ironed into it. But just take your time, especially around the outside edges. Now, one thing I would consider recommending is basting. Once you get this all ironed on, consider basting around the edges outside of your sewing zone, because I left extra here. So I would baste it outside the zone of where I'm keeping it. And the only reason I say that is just with a lot of handling and wear and tear. And when you're running this through a regular machine, because I can't do this on my long arm because it needs to be a zigzag stitch, but you're going to be grabbing it and crunching it a lot, which puts stress on the fusible right in the edge. So if you did a quick little basting, in fact, let me do that real quick because I know that I would appreciate that once I have it done. Okay, let me bring this down. But sometimes the better you prep the quilt that you're going to work on, the better the more enjoyment in working through it, the better outcome. So sometimes, even though none of us, I don't think any of us love prep work, it can really help the enjoyment of the process. So I based it well with that outside of the area that I know I'm going to use. And this really only takes a couple minutes. I have to remind myself that, because sometimes I'm very impatient to get to the fun part. And it's like, yeah, it only takes probably 3 or 4 minutes to do this. So, and if I had done it from the beginning, already. But now having that, even though it's a lightweight base, having it on there will make the zigzagging of it so much easier. Okay. All right. Here, then I just zoom up this up. I don't even think that took 5 minutes. That was pretty easy. All right. Then cut my thread. And I'm done. and I'll show you. So now it's completely basted on there. You don't have to worry about it coming loose, getting in the way, folding over. So it's all done. All right, so then I'll take that back upstairs because I have been doing the zigzag upstairs. That's done. All right. So let me check my agenda. Boy, there are some fun things that we're working on around here. All right. We started back with our Art Quilt Thursday. And we're doing, I'll show you the picture of this when we do show and tell. But here is the pattern for this. And here. And see, I need to go over this with the marker and write all the information down. And then Mark will help me scan it into the computer. And I used to have a desk set up near the printer, but I don't anymore. So that's why he helps me, because I can sit at a table and do the computer while he replaces the page. But there it is. As soon as I use a dark marker so that you can see what's going on and read all my comments, I will get this scanned in. All righty. I was thinking it had been a week and I hadn't done it, but just been 2 days. So now I don't feel so bad now. And I'm going to get ready and show you what we're doing. But here is the start of the quilt, and it's a quilt as you go. So that part is really nice. And then once I get it done, and it's going to be dark, rich colors, blues and purples and pinks and oranges and yellows, then it's going to have like a little mountain on the bottom, a little cliff, and the view is standing on the cliff looking down. And it's very simple and easy, just strips. We'll get it done. But then I said, I want to make a tree to put fuse on top of all the strips. So I did work on this tree, and I'll also include the pattern for this for you, or feel free to draw your own tree. The couple things I'll mention, the tree is supposed to be windblown. You've ever seen any trees on cliffs? Number one, they're growing on a thin layer of soil on rock. So they're not vibrant, big trees. They're usually pretty scrawny, pretty windblown. If you're near the ocean, there's a salt water breeze. It's not real conducive to healthy, lush plants. So what I did is get a scrawny, hunched over little tree. So with this one, what I did is drew with using a light box, drew my pattern onto a piece of Steam-A-Seam 2, which has paper on either side. And I ended up, I am so frugal. I took 1 page of the Steam-A-Seam 2, and any space that I didn't have to use for the main tree, I cut out. Hi, Robin, it's so good to see you. I took and cut out the spaces on that Steam-A-Seam 2 page and then taped it to places where the tree was bigger than the one, printer size page. And so I made the 1 page work for all of it. And then I refined it. And I think I'm right happy with where it is now. Once I cut it out, then I took and just, since it lightly sticks, because that's the beauty of Steam-A-Seam 2, I stuck it to the pattern page so that doing something like this makes it very vulnerable. It's very floppy and thick, and you don't want it to flop and stick to itself. So by keeping it in a safe place, let's say I didn't want to put it back on the pattern paper, then get a piece of freezer paper. You want something that You don't want to use regular copy paper to put it on because that stickiness might really stick to the paper. And you need to retain the stickiness so that you can stick it in place on the quilt when you're done. So this is nice because it has a slick surface. If you have a Teflon sheet or a silicone sheet, parchment paper, freezer paper, and put it on the freezer paper sticky side, the glossy side, and that will keep the glue on the fusible from sticking too much until you're ready to put it on your fabric. Also, don't forget, if you're going to do it on fusible, you've got to mirror image the tree. So decide what side your tree is going on. When you print out the pattern, click mirror image. Or if you're not sure how to do that, put it on the side that it works out to manage to. I want it, for some reason, I love putting my stuff on the right-hand side. So I made sure to mirror image it. So there it is. And with mirror imaging on fusible, you just have to, you'll be drawing it on the paper side if it's not Steam-A-Seam 2. If it's Steam-A-Seam 2, you might want to see which paper side the stickiness, which side it easily pops off of. And if that's the side with the grids on it, then draw it on the other side and you'll automatically mirror image. But just keep working and looking and peel it back and go, is this right? I always have to take my time with that because that always it's a little tricky. I think I've got it in my head until I start cutting and I go, oh no, that wasn't mirror image. But there is the little tree that we're going to use on top. This is going to be very simple. I'm not putting gravel on the beach unless it looks that way in the fabric because it's going to be from a distance. It's just darkened colors and that's that. So this one is a warm up. Let's go ahead and put one row on it while we're here. If you have any questions for me, if you want to get my attention, type in all caps. I can spot that very easily and I'll try to make sure. It's a great Halloween tree. Good job. So, this is great. Okay. So here is, and I told y'all last time, be careful because sometimes you'll sew something on the back. That is true. And I'm going to, this is a good teaching moment. I see all my mistakes. They're not boo-boos, they're teaching moments. All right, this came around from the other side and it got stuck on here. What would you do if you take out the stitches? Then you've got to come back and re-sew it. And that's hard. Well, it wouldn't be hard in this case, but if it was one of these seams, it would be hard to do. What would I do? So if I don't want to damage the seam, I come right up and cut it right near the stitches without cutting the stitches, okay? I don't cut the stitches. But if you cut close enough, look what happens. Then you can just pull this away. And then your seam is intact and you're ready to go. So just keep that in mind. But, always pull it up so you can see if I'm going to come in here and iron this down. And I'm going to go for a lighter color in this. Okay. So I'm going to pick something bright and happy. I think this would be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the fabric about 1.5 inches wide. Now you could do your strip quilt with even smaller strips. It's entirely up to you. But I think about 1.5 inches or so. And I love tearing fabric, so that's just my thing. Oops, I think I might, oh boy, it almost fits. You know what I'm going to do with this? I'm going to go ahead and piece in I'm going to piece in a little seam. Okay. Because I hate wasting. This fabric is a Jenny Beyer fabric. And I just love, love, love it. I don't waste my Jenny Beyer fabric. All right, now let me go back to my pattern. Let me go back and double check. And you know what you can do? If you're going to sit here and work on it, you can always pin the pattern to the top of the paper. All right, so I've got now look here. I've got my dark blue. I'm supposed to, oh, I could have used a little strip of dark blue. Here is where the next strip goes. Okay. All right, once you tear your fabric, then you can go back and iron it just to make sure. All right, now, making it too short is not a bad thing because this has it calls for a dark strip on the end. So, all right, I need a good little, probably 7 inches. So I'm going to make it a little longer. And this is our Art Quilt Thursday, and I wanted something that was very easy. Now to sew this on, I want to do all of my piecing at an angle. So here is my horizontal piece. Here's the new horizontal. What I do is I lay it at a 45-degree angle. And then I'm going to fold up the end here so I can get that degree marker right. And if you want to make double check, then come fold it back and make sure it's what you want. And since I only have to just sew this little tiny bit, I'll be right back. I'm going to stitch this in place. I had to make sure to shorten my stitch because a 5.0 is just a little excessive. Oh, and I don't know if any of y'all have been to Lisa Capon Quilts lately, but she's doing the cutest baby quilt. And her baby turtle that she did just the other day is the cutest thing you ever saw. So don't forget our Lisa Capon. She's in her beautiful new house and studio. And boy, is she doing a great job. All right, now let me just quickly bring the pattern back. I kind of want to see what we're doing this row right here. Okay, we're doing this row. So let me make sure I have, where are my little lines? Okay, here's my line. And I've got to move this over. See how I can see through the pattern to see right where it goes. All right. So it goes right there. So now what I'm going to do is carefully fold it right sides together and put the pin in. Okay. I like pinning. And in fact, one of the things I want to find the walking foot for this machine because I think this is where a walking foot would come in really handy. All right, I'm going to come around here, drop this. All right, so what I've done, put right sides together and I matched them with the bottom, but I'm going to be taking a bigger seam allowance I'm going to do at least a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay. With this one, I'm doing a bigger seam because that way I don't have to be too precise. I just want to be able to look back and go, okay, I'm leaving enough there. So, all right. And I like having these just a little big because it just, I want this to be very relaxing, very easy, very fun, no stress, quick, all of that. All right, so pull this back down. Okay. Making sure they stay lined up. And here it looks like this piece wasn't as wide on that end. I'll make sure I don't make that too narrow. But none of this has to be perfect because these could be curvy if you wanted. This is not a piece quilt. This is not a perfect quilt. This is just art quilt fun. One of the things that I love about art quilts is you are the only judge of what is good enough because it's your design, it's your imagination. Don't worry. All right. Now I'm back over to the ironing board. Mark did a great job tightening this arm. I don't have it dropping anymore. All right. So I'm going to cut off some of these longer pieces so I don't get a lot of flapping around. Okay. So now if this were thick, you could always grade your seams. And grading your seams would mean I would take and pull the top one back. I would trim the bottom seam by maybe half. You do this a lot if you're making clothing, but I want to show you. And if you cut the one that lays on the bottom, always gets cut shorter, not the one that's going to show at first. Let me tell you why. You cut the underneath shorter because then the one on top covers it and protects it. If you cut the top one shorter, it would want to curl. And you don't want this curling because you want all this to lay flat. Now I've ironed it flat. Now I'll come and pull this back. And here we are. So here is the next row of this landscape quilt. And this is going to be a cloud. And this is purposely a little more avant-garde for us because I wanted to see what would happen if I did it a little more geometrically. So there is that. And then when I get all the rose and the sunset and the purples and all that, then this will come back once I peel it off. Let me show you. And you're going to have to be careful when you handle this tree because fabric cut this thin can shred if you're not careful. And I've pushed it down firmly on this so it wouldn't flip around. But see, like the ends of it might want to come off. But what you would do then is carefully peel it off and then you just iron it down in place. All right. So there is our Art Quilt Thursday project. And you see on the back, let me see how it's quilted already. Now, after I put the tree on, when it's all done, I may want to do quilting to stitch the tree on, and that'll give it a little more quilting, which will be nice. But that I can just do once it's already done. All right, so this is our Art Quilt Thursday project. And I'm just going to fold it gently. Put that over there. Now, I took this out because I want to wash this. This is a waxed African printed fabric. And it is stiff. It's called Three Cats by Dagama Textiles. I bought this at a quilt show, printed in South Africa. I want to put this through some wash and see if I can get it to soften up a little bit. It is, hi, Edwinice. Kathy B, hi, sweetheart. And they're so euphoria. Ah, yeah, my machine is doing really good. It fixed it. Well, I cleaned out under the bobbin and put a new needle, rethreaded it, and it's perfect. So what I'm going to do with this fabric, have you ever heard of boho jackets? And it's where I'm going to use I think a sweatshirt that I normally don't wear, and I'll cut it up the middle, and I'm going to turn it into a jacket. What I'm going to do is probably cut these out, or I could lay them on, find a place and but what I'm going to do is get some sashiko thread, and I'm going to come embellish these with hand stitches. So it's a little bit of like a sashiko, boho kind of feeling. But I saw this done on The Last Homely House East of the Sea. Kate Jackson did this to a denim jacket, and I thought it was really cool. And so I'll just, where the light stitches are here, I will be using these lines and hand stitching over it. So it's a form of very loose, easy embroidery. And, but I want to get this a little softer first. I think it would be really hard to have a, needle go through this. So I just wanted to show you before. I've already got my sweatshirt out, and I've got this. And the nicest thing about boho is you don't worry about seam allowances or anything. It came from a method of patching damaged clothing, and all of this comes from a beginning of frugality, a beginning of not having much, so you take care of what you've got. Sashiko is Japanese repairing of clothing, and I thought that would be really neat. So I've got to order some sashiko thread, which is kind of like, you could use pearl cotton, and a needle with a big enough head in it that you can get the pearl cotton through. And I think I'm going to go an off-white. I don't want it to be too bright or glaring. And I think that this will be a fun winter project. So I really, really, really like this. Is there a Stella here? Okay. So I just thought I'd show you, this is what I want to work on. But I bought this at a quilt show, and I thought it would be a lot of fun. Okay, here we go. All right. And hopefully it'll be enough to cover it, and I'll see how it goes. You could even, if I don't want to use that heavy sweatshirt, I might take a jeans shirt and put it on it. But I think it might be kind of nice. I think it might be kind of nice to have as a fall and spring jacket. So that's going to be one of my new projects for this coming winter. I like having winter type projects to work on. All right. I'm doing good at exercising. Whoa. And I believe it or not, I've gotten to the stage where I really don't mind doing it. And the other night, I didn't go to bed till after 1, but I exercised right before I went to bed. So that's nice. It's nice. I've heard that happens if you do it enough. And I don't know, it feels good emotionally that I'm taking care of myself because I don't often take care of my physical self. So, and that's all part of it. We have to take care of our mind, our heart, and our body. So we'll keep going, see what happens. All right. So I've shown you the stained glass, the exercise program. I've talked to you about the triptych process. I started to sew. I'm kind of changing my mindset. I started to sew these in long strips, but then that gets tricky when then you have the curved lines. And I'll get ready to show you my inspiration piece. But I was trying to figure out how can I do the curved lines. And so I think what I'm going to do is go back to just sewing a whole bunch of these squares, then lay them out. And I kind of think I need to redraw my pattern and show every block. And that way, then when I draw the curved lines, I know exactly how I have to cut that block and piece it with a different color. So I'm still working all this out. I love, love, love that you told me about, I love that. And your husband says he exercises his right not to exercise. I don't blame him a bit. If I didn't have the health problems pushing me along, oh, that's cute. But I'm still working on what is my best method. But I'll keep you posted on exactly how I'm doing it. And on our Groups IO site, thought I had it. I'll check, because then you'll get an idea. If you look at the picture, especially, you can get an idea of how many of each different color block to make to end up getting that portrait. And to get the artwork piece. And I really do. I want to compliment Anne. Her purple blocks are wonderful because there's such a variety of color that they pop. And that's what I want this one to do. I want it to sparkle. So I'm trying to get myself to change up on the colors so that, let me show you a blue. But after looking at hers, adding little pops of other colors here and there, it going from light to dark, just mixing it up. And like this here, and here's an orange with some yellow in the middle or gold in the middle. So that's going to be really good to help it to sparkle. I'll lay I think my real key is to take the pattern I've drawn and measure these blocks, and measure and place them in there. So that way I know I'll have a pattern of how exactly do I cut this? Because if I just go, I'll cut it almost in half. It's not, the blocks won't measure right. And then it'll start not wanting to lay flat. So that's a work in progress, and I will keep you posted. All right. Then Pineapple Fabrics, Polly, listen up, girlfriend. Anybody in North Carolina, South Carolina, if you're close enough to, is it Randleman? But Pineapple Fabrics, which is officially part of Keepsake Fabrics, is having their grand reopening sale after their renovation they did. September 14th is the first day. The hours are Thursday through Saturday, 9 to 5. They're going to have sales that you can only get if you go in person. They'll also, I think, offer some discounts online. They're going to have free giveaways all 3 days. So I'm thinking I'm going to go on September 14th. Now, Monday is the 11th, 12th, 13th. 14th. So it is. It's Thursday. So I think I'm going to plan a Thursday trip to Pineapple Fabrics. So free giveaways, 9 to 5 are their hours. It's real busy right at 9. So just kind of sometimes lunchtime gets real quiet. But Pineapple Fabrics, we've always loved anything we buy from Keepsake and Pineapple Fabrics. So, all right. So anyway, I've shown you this, and I'm thinking this is going to be right pretty. And it's 5 colors: blue, red, yellow, orange, and purple. And I think that'll be real pretty. But it's a lot of sewing. But I enjoy it. I put an audiobook on and just relax. Okay, so I handled that. This fall, our big emphasis is finishing quilts. And I want to apologize. I briefly looked for the underwater quilt. I didn't find it. I have so many quilts that I've made that I keep them in Tyvek kind of or tarp fabric that I got from IKEA. They're big duffel bags, and I'm going to have to go through and see. It made me realize when I'm still working on cleaning the room. Well, I should say I'm thinking about it, but I didn't work on it at all this week. I'm sorry about that. But I'm thinking of making an inventory system. And it may just be deciding what quilts I put in what storage bag and making sure to have like an inventory sheet of where to find them, what bag number, or put the actual name of the quilts on the bag, because I want to be able to put my hands on any particular quilt really fast. So I am just realizing I need a better organizational system. So I will try to find that. And then as part of my fall UFO emphasis, whose birthday? Meltem. Happy birthday, Meltem. That's wonderful. September 21st, the first day of fall. How wonderful. But I will, I realize I really want to get organized, because the older I get, the slower I am when I want to start a project. If I have to spend a lot of time searching and hunting, it takes away the fun. So I'm going to keep working on organizing all of my stuff. And I know that I will thank myself for it. Okay, let's see. I do want to get my UFOs done. All I seem to be doing is making new projects. I don't seem to be working on catching up to things from the back. So I'm going to really work it. Is Debbie's birthday also James's birthday? No, wait a minute. Debbie's birthday is today. Is Debbie's birthday today? Oh. Yeah, journal for inventory. I mean, it's important to know what you've got. You know what, Debbie? I'm going to send you this for your birthday. Someone made this and gave it to me, and it's lovely, lovely, lovely. And you can keep, it has the 2 pockets in it and a Velcro closure. And I'm going to mail this to Debbie this week for her birthday. So I found this when I was going through stuff, and I said, my big goal is if I'm not using it, pass it on to someone who might want to. And if they don't want it, they can pass it on to somebody else. So happy birthday, Debbie. And Stella, it's so nice to see you. Hi, Stella. Stella Maris or Stella Marie? So nice to see you. Also, while I'm thinking of it, is that why it is, Miss Jody? Aren't you smart? Aren't you smart? Okay, our time to quilt at twc.com. That is my email address. If you would like to join our free group SciO group where we share patterns and information and ask questions. This is great. I wish we could have a party together. But you can join our group SciO or send us pictures of your work or your garden or something that's very special for you, and we'll include it in our show and tell. Okay? So welcome, welcome. Oh, who is this? Is this a new Marcia? Hi. Hey, Marcia, we have a second Marcia on here. Hello, Marcia. It's great to see you. All right. So now I'm going to show you the toilet paper roll Christmas tree. I told Mark, save all the toilet paper. All toilet paper rolls. Because, I don't know about you, but it just bothers me to have something that you use all the time and then end up just throwing away. Now, this is not my better decorated thing. I was getting it ready real fast before we went on air. So I will have to apologize that it's very quick. When I make more of them, I'm going to take more time. But this is my toilet paper roll Christmas tree. This side popped open. Let me get a little piece of tape. That's one thing I'll show you when you're cutting it. Don't cut too close to the edge because wait a minute. Let me just see something. With that cut open, I kind of like it sprung open. Let me cut them all. It might be now I see the problem. So let me put this piece of tape to hold it back together. Okay, I do see a problem with cutting them all apart. Okay. That is so funny. Okay, so this one is the experimental one, but it's making a little Christmas tree. Let me trim the little puffy star top down. And to some of you who might not do Christmas, then please feel free to share what your holiday traditions are. In fact, I know Ramadan is coming up soon. So, all right. So what you do to make this, okay, I'm going to tilt this down. All right. So you kind of take and go ahead and just like flatten it in half. Okay. Then you come up here to the top and you do the top of the first little Christmas tree branch. But we'll do if you have any crafts for your religious holiday, let me know. I'd love to do that too. Okay, here we go. And then I want to come and make my second branch. There's 3 branches. Leave this joined together in the middle. Don't get too close to it because it will tear. Okay. Now, make sure you leave these connected. We just found out what happens if we don't leave them connected. All right. So now come down and bring this branch down like this. So I just do like a sweeping branch look. Okay. And then come to the top of the bottom branch, cut nice curvy top to the bottom branch like this. And if you wish, you can make a line down the middle of the Christmas tree. You can pre-draw your branches if you want to make sure that you cut them right without cutting too much. Whatever makes you happy, but you just cut the little lines like this. Then I'm going to come in here and cut the base. You want it to have a nice stand to hold the Christmas tree up. Come right here and cut this. All right, and come right here and cut this. Okay. All right, so there you go. Now you have your Christmas tree. Then you pop it out like this. You see? Now you have the Christmas tree. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, then you could just have it decorated as a winter tree. All right, let's come over here. All right. Because the tree symbols life and rebirth. For early peoples, winter was a scary time. The dark and long nights. It was a hard time. Okay. Now let me see if I can squeeze out. Now you can do whatever color paint you want. In fact, let me go see if I can find some green and we'll do a green tree. All right. Let's see. We can, whoops. Okay. Whoops. That's a little loose. Unfortunately, I have plenty of paints from a long time past. I'm going to first take some of this brown and I'm going to paint on the little stem of the tree, the trunk. Okay, so there's the trunk. Then let me pick up some of this green. Whoops. Let me bring this up a little. Okay. So I painted the trunk. Whoops, I got to move it over a touch. I always forget when I set up. All right. Let me bring this. Okay. So I'm going to take some of this green and put on the tree here. And I love painting. So to me, this is fun and easy. This is a great project for grandchildren because this is something that's pretty easy for them to do. Now, if you're worried their little hands might accidentally tear the tree, then have them paint the cone before you cut it. You can always cut it after the paint dries. And I'm going to go in and cover the inside because if this paper towel or toilet paper roll were brown, then it wouldn't be so bad. But since it's bright white, I'm going to go in and paint the inside too. Okay. Let me make sure I've painted the whole inside good. All right. Now I'm going to put some of this back in. So hopefully next time I can stir it a little better or shake it a little better and it won't be quite so runny. I have so many paints and I don't use them fast enough for them to stay together. So this is a green metallic, so it's kind of pretty, but as thin as it is, because I didn't shake it enough, I bet you I'll have to use 2 coats. But I don't want to waste it, so I'm trying to put it back in. Oh, I only use green just a little bit once in a while, and I hate to have to every year buy new stuff. So if I just try to take good care of it, and I keep it in a dark area on a counter over there on a special paint rack. All right, I think I've gotten most of it. I told you I'm cheap. I told you. All right, so here we go. Now, get it off my ironing board cover. I'm going to quickly, with this last little bit, touch up some of the areas because it is coming out just a wee bit light. But I'll be able to shake it and put another coat on just a little later. But now, okay, now let me see if I can take a smaller brush, and then I'm going to take some of this gold, and I'm going to use the gold, for little ornaments. You could use whatever color you want. In fact, I've got some red. I'll have to put some red ornaments in here too. All right. And then I've got to decide. I don't know what I did. Oh, here's the lid. Okay. All right, let me put this lid back on. All right. Now, I might just make the base of the tree red. So let me put some red here. Okay. But this is just something very easy. Now, if you wanted to do something really cool, you could, and pretty modern and hip, you could paint it the color of a paper bag and put burlap bow on it. You could paint it a buffalo plaid. You can get as creative as you want. Now I'm going to come back here to the front and put some red colored ornaments on it. Oops, come on. All right. So here you go. And then I have a little piece of a puff ball. And you can put a little puffball star on the top. So this is just an easy little Christmas ornament idea. And like I say, it's a great little thing to do with grandchildren. Oops. Stick back on there. And I think in the future, I am going to use something. I'm taking now some glitter and just dropping the glitter on like this. So you can have a little bit of glitter. And this is just a very, very simple little decoration that you can make from toilet paper holders. And they might be cute, sitting all up on a shelf, and try different ones. Now, there's one thing I want to try. Give me just a second here. I have another paper towel roll, and give me just a second. I had in my mind, I was curious if this would work. I'm cutting them, but stopping short of that back wall. And I'm not really flattening them because I don't want them to have a sharp seam. Let me see, making sure they go back far enough, but not too far. I just wanted to try something. It probably won't work, or somebody would have already thought about it, because I saw the Christmas trees online. But I was wondering, hold on just a second. I was wondering if I cut through but left a spine, could I then fan it out? Yes. Ha! I thought of this one all myself. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. But now I just take and bend it back on that little, see what I'm doing? I'm just bending it and creasing it so it's easy to bend. All right, let me finish creasing these. I just pull it open, crease it, pull it open, and crease it. And then, how do we do this? I was thinking that if they could make like a round wreath, painted green, and then put some berries in the center. Hi, Michelle the quilter. Oh, well, oh, Lisa, you and I have so much in common, hon. We'll have to talk. I tell you, we have got so much in common. So here we go. I thought this would work, and it will. And so big red balls in here for the berries, and this will be a wreath, and there you go. So, and that'll be pretty easy to paint green or gold or whatever color you want your wreath. So that was fun. I thought it would work, and it did. And I'm so tickled that I finally, because I'm really good at copying what I see out in the world, but I want to think that I can sometimes think of something too. So there we go. And that would be kind of neat. All right. So that is that, because I want to try to do something for the holidays every week coming up. So there we go. Lisa, you're so smart, hon. You're so smart. Yeah, I just, I'm torn. I love quilting. I love gardening. I love crafting. There's so much I love. And that's why I've always said, I wish I had 6 lifetimes so I could spend each one doing different things. And so I'm always torn between, do I craft? Do I quilt? But quilt is my biggie. But crafting, gardening come right second to that. I used to when I was younger. Gardening was everything to me. And luckily, quilting you can still do when you're too tired to go out in the heat and dig dirt. So anyway, all right. So I think I need to find the undersea quilt, and then I'm going to show you next Sunday the first UFO that I'm going to get done. And I'm hoping if I can time it right, some of them are going to take longer than 1 week to finish, but I want to get things done. When I was looking for the undersea quilt, I found a quilt over there that all I need to do is finish putting the binding on. Come on, Deb. So that's what I'm going to be working on. This is going to be the year of get it finished. So I like that. All right, now it is time to check out show and tell. All righty. Oops. Here we go. And like I say, wait till you see Jody's new photo. I think Jody and Ann have the new photos this week. Let me turn off the lights. All right, here we go. All right. Tilt this just a little. Let me see. This is the picture. This is the inspiration that I got for our art quilt first project. This is the inspiration. And I like how it's all dark. I think then the silhouette of that tree will be perfect. So now this picture was very small. By enlarging it, it pixelates. But I will show you how I'm going to translate that into real fabric. But I think that's so pretty. So then, not only that, but I think I also wanted to show you let me see, the triptych we're working on. And do I have that inspiration? Here it is. Now, I have done my own version. I made the paper piecing. I'm adding purple mountains down here. I'm putting a moon up here and a sun down here. But as you see, I'm trying to figure out, since these are paper piece blocks, how do I do it so that I have minimal waste? And that's what I'm still working on. So I'm thinking if I just flood it with blocks, that I want to go over the pattern and put individual block lines so that when I decide what my curve is going to be, I know right where it falls on a block. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. If you want to make it easy, you can just fold your pattern paper to the size of the finished block, and you can just crease across your pattern. So I'll be working on that. There we go. So these are the inspiration photos for the two things we're working on. And there we go. All right, now let me go back to the beginning. And Ann, yes, Ann sent me some really cool things. So Ann, let me close this one out and make this bigger so you can see. Ann got a little bit hooked on doing paper piece squares, and she's done an outstanding job of them. And they are addictive, just like Lay's potato chips, let me tell you. So isn't that wonderful? And then she sent a picture of her sky near where she lives. Look at that beautiful sky with very low hanging clouds. They are wonderful. And these are some of her farm, a compilation of her farm photos. Isn't that great? I love these. Love them. She has such a happy spirit that comes out. And I thought I closed her. Okay. Here we go. I love these strips and how that she has some behind, some in front. It really does a beautiful job of giving depth to the work. Beautiful, beautiful job. And this is how our Anne starts a piece. She gets all her fabrics, lays them out, and then goes, okay, now where am I going with this? I think that's wonderful. Very nice. Let me see. And then I love her sugar skull. That is so cute. Then another one of her finished of her cow. And then another one of those beautiful low-hanging clouds. And then, oh, look at this bird. That's her first ever bird, and she did an outstanding job. And now she's working on laying out she wants to make an undersea quilt, and how is she going to go about it. Some more of her paper pieced blocks. Let me enlarge that so you can see. You can see she started out and just kept on going. That's why we love our Anne. All right. And then I think there was one more. Let me see. And here is another version of her undersea quilt. She's got a lot she's trying to work on, get it in place. All right, now. Oh, Betty's jacket. That was so wonderful. And Betty Meisner's wonderful Bargello. I just love how she did this. Then here is Miss Beebe's. This is her beach quilt, and this is the back of it. She uses the same color thread and the bobbin that is on the top, and it makes a wonderful negative of her quilting. Beautiful. Then an eyeglass holder with Dear Sunbonnet Sue and her dog. I was going to name him Spot, but I'm not sure he has any spots. So that is so cute. I love that. That shows a happy spirit. And now, oh my gosh, this amazing. It's a form of lace making. I don't know if it is with tiny crochet thread and tiny crochet. Look at this. That is amazing. I don't have the talent, number one, or the patience or maturity. I don't know what you want to call it, but my goodness, that's beautiful. Whoops, hold on a second. Okay. I'm having a terrible time here. Come on, Deb. Okay, look at that. Is that exquisite? That is absolutely beautiful. And just think, crocheting, knitting is just a form of controlled knot making, hand weaving that makes something so beautiful. I love that, Miss Beebe. And then her beach quilt, which is lovely. It's got rocks. I love that she used a fuzzy yarn for the plants growing in front of the beach fencing, the lace for her waves, the umbrellas. I love the way that her thread painting and quilting on the sun, it just flows just like the water. Just beautiful. Way to go, Miss Beebe. Okay, now who is next? Miss Bonnie. She's been busy. I love it. Miss Bonnie has been laying out what are the projects I want to work on this month. If I did that, I bet you I would get more done, just like Miss Bonnie. Here, oh, it looks like she's going, oh yeah, because she's probably going to do a blanket stitch with the with matching shades of floss. Beautiful. Okay. And then I sent her this. It reminded me of her black work, a black outlined fabric, and she's taking her floss and filling in. Is that pretty? Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Way to go, Miss Bonnie. Okay. And look at all the gorgeous colors she has chosen and placed around that work. That is going to be quite a treasure. Beautiful. She takes such good care of all of her stuff. Everything is so organized, easy for her to find and work on. I love it. Okay. And some hexies that she's been working on. Her dragon, Lily, I think is her name. And then some of Lily's other friends. And here is a large picture of all the things she's working on completing. So Miss Bonnie's helping me. Look at her immaculate black work back there. Just beautiful. So I'm really tickled. She's doing a wonderful job. Okay. It's so nice for her to have her vision straightened out. How important is that? All right, Debbie. And Debbie the other day told me what this was, and now I forgot. But I love that tropical theme quilt. That is just so bright and happy. Very nice. And then here's her beach quilt, which she did an outstanding job. And I love that it has pelicans and seagulls. It has shells. I love it. There's another pelican. And I noticed, I thought that, oh, okay, this is the sunrise or sunset. That's beautiful. Way to go, Debbie. All right, now I'm going to, and I never thought of putting a boat out there and the different kinds of animals. Now, are you ready for Miss Jody's? A couple weeks ago, she asked, what other matinee monster could I work on next? Well, guess what? Here's the first picture in the progression. Here's the second picture in the progression. Isn't she amazing? She is so very talented. Oh my gosh. I love it. And then here we go. I love that. You know what I'm thinking, Miss Jody? She's still trying to figure out if she wants to use the black background. I'm wondering if there's some kind of mottled black and gray background that might look a little bit like a little bit of fog with the Klieg lights out, shining on the monster. I'm just thinking of a very mottled black and gray might be good. But the black's pretty striking. And look at this wonderful version of the Chrysler building she did. Isn't that wonderful? I think that's just fantastic. I love the texture in the fabric that gives the look of fur. It is just wonderful. The expression on the face is wonderful. So way to go. We can't wait to see how this progresses. I absolutely love this. Every time she does one, I go, oh, that's my new favorite. It's like, oh, they're all so good. I heard from Joni this week. So good to hear from Miss Joni. Hoping those grandsons are just doing great and thriving. And here is her Bargello. Beautiful, beautiful quilt. Okay, let's see who is next. Kathy Klein's beautiful Bargello. Oh, reminded me of like tapestry, medieval something. It's just beautiful. Way to go, Miss Kathy. Okay. Now, let's see. Miss Mary. Okay, we've got her amazing first date Bargello quilt. And the back of it with the wonderful big movement quilting that it just here it's like swirled lines going up, echoing the movement that the colors give. Then here is another quilt right here, and I'm trying to remember if this was like a diamond something, but she really did a great job with this. And then the back of it is right here. Come on, back of the quilt. Here it is. And there's the back. I love the backings, really sweet. Okay. And if you're ever wondering, why do people show the backs of their quilt? Because a lot of times the back you're curious, how did they make the back? And then you're also curious, what does the quilting really look like? And you can see it sometimes better on the back than the front because it's not competing with all of the piecing that's on the front. And here's a beautiful sunset that Miss Melanie sent us. I can never get enough sunsets. So beautiful. That's all over Lake Michigan, which is a very, very big lake. Okay, now let me see. Let me see. Where am I going next? Miss Sonia's. Oh, I love her new quilt that she did. Oh, this is beautiful. And her quilting is exquisite. Her piecing is immaculate. Just beautiful. I love that. And she quilted it on her domestic. I have such respect for her. Isn't that just beautiful? Just beautiful. And thank you, Miss Sonia. Her work is so wonderful. Okay, I think that's it for today. So thank you so much for sending in. Don't forget Our Time to Quilt at ewc.com. Send in your pictures. We'll use them on our show and tell. We always appreciate when you share pictures of your own work because we are always inspired by seeing what you use to keep yourself busy. So let's see. We finished a little bit early today, but that might be good. I'm still tired. I think I might not be sleeping quite as good lately, and I'm not sure why. But when I get tired enough, I will definitely sleep. Mark and I have been staying up a little late, which sometimes gets us in trouble. All right, let me bring these down. But, looks like a slinky. It does, Marcia. That is a good one. And then, but don't you love Jody's King Kong? They're just, I love all of them. But she just makes those matinee monsters come alive. That it brings the joy of being a kid seeing these things. It just brings it right back. And I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. I think we're pretty much done today. So you know what I might do? I might go upstairs and get myself something to eat. And I might just take a break in my hammock. I have my hammock in my sunroom right now. It takes up a lot of space. And when I have to start bringing in my houseplants that are outside, when I have to start bringing them in for the winter, the hammock needs to be gone. So I only have now. Oh, I have glitter on. Oh goodness, that's cute. It doesn't surprise me a bit. Doesn't surprise me a bit. Thank you. That's the one problem about glitter. It goes everywhere. So, all right, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. And next week, I'm hoping to have a lot more done of our real triptych. So I'm hoping to have some actual cutting. I'll be able to show you the method I came up with and how to really get a nice smooth wave effect out of square blocks. So I think that should be exciting. And then I'll show you some snowflakes made out of toilet paper rolls. And let's see how far I get on the stained glass. And I will show you my first UFO that I'm getting finished and mailed off to its very deserving owners. So thank you. Have a great week this week. I hope the whole country cools off so everyone can start enjoying their fall. Take good care. If you have any questions, if you need any help on certain patterns or skill you're doing, feel free to email me. Take good care. Mwah. Take good care of yourself. Do something special just for you. Bye-bye, everybody. You're the best. Bye-bye.